So Nabila co-owning music. It started more than 2 years ago. I was a business manager at Hewlett Packard, business development manager, and I wanted to do something else. So I started a filmmaking school. And during my course or my studies as a filmmaker, I realized how difficult it is to make a living with the income from your copyright. That is a problem that was in music, in filmmaking. So I thought there had to be a way or a better way to organize the market. So what is better than consuming music for free? I was asking myself. And the answer I gave, or the answer I was receiving money. So instead of seeing music as a consumer good, we should change the relationship and see music as an investment. And that's how it started. A new way to monetize music online, because the problem is that today online you cannot monetize, or it's very difficult to monetize music. So that's why we came up with a new co-ownership business model.
Am I up? Yeah. Yeah, so essentially this new business model, a way to solve the problem in the record label industry where artists continue to get taken advantage of. They've been taken advantage of since day one with the record labels. Then now Spotify and the streaming services are taking advantage of them. They're not getting their fair share of the pie. And what Nebula does is gives the artists money up front that they never have to return by selling a portion of their royalties. So we're tokenizing the royalties on Ethereum blockchain and allowing co-ownership in a fractional way where everybody could kind of be the record label and the financier for these artists, and they never have to return that money. Currently with the record labels, they have to return the money, the advances they get, and they become in debt to the whole career and never see any money back from the record label, really. The only money they're really seeing is these advances. So it empowers the artist to get money up front, and they could use that to kind of kick off their career, use it for marketing or whatever they want. Kind of like, you know, Coinbase meets the music industry. I can't see the slides, Alessandro, so you maybe tell me where we are now.
Okay, so we're now with the market landscape, where we see.
Okay, yeah. So the market landscape. So listen, we've been building this thing for 2 years now, almost. We did it with our own funds and our own resources. We recently raised majority of our round. So we're much more mature than the competitors. There are a bunch of bandwagons companies starting to show up now, you know, here and there. But we're much more mature than them technology-wise. It's a very new marketplace, and it's a very healthy marketplace. We're right on time for what's going on.
So let's talk basically about the team.
Yeah, sure. And then before I get to the team, so we started building this before the whole NFT hype. You know, we saw this NFT hype coming way before we started building this before. And now, you know, now we're like the NFT for music. That's the whole hype that's going on. We're right on time. And the team, we're very well versed. I personally have been building apps since the App Store launched, since the iPhone 3 and 4. Same with Yamin, who runs product. Alessandro can maybe tell him a little bit about himself, but we're a very well versed team with a very, very thick tech and market user experience design background.
Okay, and lastly about the fundraise, we are raising 960,000 Swiss francs for 20% company shares. We have 2 investors who already invested in the company. We have a 3rd investor that committed, and we are still selling shares worth 250,000. We're mainly focusing on sales and marketing, go-to-market, but also making sure that the product is up to date. As said, we think we have an advantage product-wise, but we have to make sure that we find the product market fit. And that's it. That's Nabila co-owning music. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Are we supposed to do questions now, or?
I think so. Don't know.
Yeah. Well, since it's quiet, a little more background on the team. We have a very thick network of music industry. We're already working with some big record labels to give us content. So that's one of our advantages against the competition that's trying to catch up to us. I'm in Los Angeles.
And I'm based here in Zurich, and we think it's a good combination. The Swiss are good wealth managers, where we turn music into an asset, and Los Angeles is very good, where it's probably the leader in pop culture. And we hope to combine these two worlds.
But does anybody here met?
No.
Guys, I have a question for you. Fuad, you said that you are in Los Angeles, and you guys are working remotely, the whole team? Like you build everything from remote?
Yes.
Like since the beginning, like since 2 years ago. Great.
Yeah. Funny story. Me and Alessandro have never met in person.
Wow. And how did you find each other?
It's through the third co-founder. So I met my first co-founder in Zurich, and he then introduced me or us to Fuad.
Wow.
So even though we're a small team, 10 people, we work remotely.
Impressive.
Talk about your traction. Are you generating revenue? Do you have how many users do you have? Have you launched?
Yeah, so we're launching mid-month this month. We have not launched, so we can't really talk about traction yet. But we can confirm some massive artists are joining us. I don't know if you've heard of Empire Records. That's my cousin. He's my cousin that owns it, Ghazi. He's confirmed some big artists for us, and I'm also very close with Cash Money Records. I'm sure you've heard of Drake, Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne. The CEO of that record label I'm working with very closely for my artists that I manage, and I'm good friends with them. So we're about to have some big drops, some big musicians coming on over the next 2 months.
Good for you.
We're releasing from Switzerland and we're releasing from the US, which means that we have to be able to collect the copyright royalties from Switzerland or from the US.
I have a question for you.
But you can buy from almost all over the world.
I have a question for you, if I can. Since what we are doing with Believing is similar, but I'm curious to understand what's the business development that you're doing? Like, how is the go-to-market?
Yeah. So essentially, it's going to be based on the content, right? So the artists we have a bunch of independent artists joining, and then we have some celebrity artists joining. And that's really the strategy, is to base it around the artist and the artist promoting that, hey, come and own a piece of my music with me. That's the concept. And of course, we have press, we have publicists on board, we have marketing team. We're going to be doing a lot of it from Discord as well. We're creating a Discord channel to kind of build that community, like same way the crypto culture is.
Great.
So I don't know if someone is talking.
From Discord as well. Creating a Discord channel.
I think it's the live on YouTube.
Echo from YouTube.
Yeah, but I don't see that honestly.
Do we need to go next on our own, or we have to wait for Matt?
Do you want to go next, Name? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
There we go. The audio works. Okay, awesome. Sorry, guys, for the technical difficulties. I think Putin's hacking my servers. In all seriousness, though, that was a great pitch, guys. Thanks for carrying on. And yeah, we're in the startup type. Yeah, do you want to go next, Naeem?
Sure. Let me share my screen.
Yeah. There we go. The Sorry guys for the technical difficulties. I think. So you're up now, Naim?
Sure, I just need to share my screen.
And
Can
everyone
you
on
see my
YouTube, thanks for sticking with us through the technical difficulties. It seems like happening now, and we're getting things moving. Awesome company with
can you see my
Nebula.
screen?
We see your screen. We've got an awesome company here with MLC Spaces. They're revolutionizing rentals and trying to make things easier and cheaper because it costs way too much to get an apartment these days.
Sure.
Go
Thank
ahead,
you very
Naim.
much. My name is Naim. I'm the founder of MLC Spaces. We try to optimize residential rentals. So what we do is we connect landlords to tenants in a co-living situation. So what happens is in big cities, rents are getting more and more expensive. They are jumping 20% every year. And then landlords are frustrated. Sometimes they face vacant apartment, especially with high number of bedroom, 5-bedroom, 6-bedroom, and they cannot find a family to rent the whole space. On the other hand, for tenants, a lot of tenants cannot afford to rent the whole apartment, like 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom in a big city, $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month. So we rent out room by room. And we connect these landlords to tenants. So, for example, I live in a 5-bedroom apartment. I am in room number 2. Someone else is room number 1. So they don't have to find a roommate. They just pay, let's say, $1,000, $1,500, and that's about it. So we are highly technology-based platform. We are trying to reduce the human basically interaction with tenants. Everything is automated. In a future slide, I will show you how things are automated. Our market size, the whole rental market in the US is around $650 billion. Based on our experience and data, we learned that 10% of it is people who are willing to share it. And in our next target for 10 major big cities in the US, we want to go after a $10 billion market in Miami, Boston, and other major cities. We have been growing pretty fast for the past 1 or 2 years. This month, we are going to set a record and reach to $220,000 a month revenue. We have been growing, but we have over 155 tenants. We charge 20% of the rent as our profit, and the remaining goes to basically landlord's pocket. And then with our model, we are able to pay our leasing agent and pay our development, and we have been profitable so far. Everything is automated in our website. We send automatic trash schedule to our tenant. We basically send them email communication, text communication through our website. Price is cheaper, and we also offer shared rooms. I have a PhD in the electrical computer engineering. I was a former Apple design engineer. We have a very formidable team who are very strong both in website development and leasing out the tenant and acquiring properties. Our projection is we are going to grow by 10x every 2 years and reach to $200 billion on 2025. And we are asking for $5 million to expand into 10 major US cities to grow the revenue from $2 million ARR to $20 million, acquire 500 more properties. Majority of this fund is going to be spent for our growth, little bit on development and also marketing. I would be happy to answer any questions you have. Thank you.
One question I have for you, Naim, is how do you see the market developing now with so much money being poured into real estate and so much money being printed, the inflation that's happening and COVID-19? What have you guys seen, and what do you expect that to happen, or basically what do you expect that to cause in terms of your business and the overall rental versus buying real estate market?
So we have data showing that the market is in favor of owning. Like over the number of renters increased by 20 to 30 million people, but the number of owners increased by 700,000 people. So that means that although people want to own, but the data show that people are renting more. Another thing is world population is increasing and it's not going to go down. It's going to increase. So people is going to need more space. And the solution for that, not only for affordability, but also more people, if move to big cities, that's the only solution for that, is to share a space. Big cities like San Francisco, in a lot of spaces, kind of saturated. Buildings are already there. They have been sitting there for 100 years, 150 years. So if you want to live in a certain neighborhood, the only way is to share.
What's your sweet sauce? What's your USP? What makes MLC Spaces more than just a real estate company?
Basically, we have a lot of vision for basically helping our tenants. So right now, we have already done a lot of advancement in technology. A lot of things are automated in our website. That makes it easier for us to manage our properties, and also make it easy for our tenants to basically live there and also communicate with us. We have a lot of vision down the road to basically, with the money that they pay, we want to give them a piece of ownership. So over time, we are going to help them to actually own property. That's one of our visions. In long term, also, we have a vision to go go underground. So use a lot of space underground and then build building. The only thing is missing is sunlight, but it's way in the future. So we have a lot of ideas to make things better for our tenants.
Okay. Prop right now is because you're so much more efficient. You can offer better prices. You can have better margins.
That is good. And also we are open to other segments. Our main competitors, Bungalow, they are mainly focused on young tech professionals. We just learned that we are open historically, based on our operation. We are open to families. We are open to even senior people. We didn't have problem with them. We have students. We have tech professional. We have family, like husband, wife, and kid. We have all sort of people. We are open to different segments. Yeah.
Okay, and it looks like we've got a question from a bearded man that wants to know if you're worried about Zillow entering this space. If you've got questions, keep them coming in the chat, guys. Sorry that we missed a couple of those. My in and out. We will be switching away from our platform and probably using someone else for the next one of these calls. But that was one of the questions. Is founders, can you guys post your contact info into the chat for anyone who's looking on YouTube? And then B, for MLC, are you guys worried about Zillow or other big players getting into the space?
I'm not worried. Zillow started buying some properties which backfired a lot this year. They're just running out of that business segment. They are mainly connecting. They are not even in room to room. All the properties listed in their platform are the whole building, like 1-bedroom apartment, 2-bedroom apartment, 3-bedroom apartment. They're not even renting out room by room. I'm not worried about them. Even if they come into the space, that could be an option for us to exit, for them to buy us. But yeah, we come with property management. We actually have the tools to manage the property physically. They don't do that. They are just a website.
Joel Blum had a good question as well, and he said, a vision's not a viable USP. Why should anyone really care about the company? What's your unique selling proposition, both to tenants and to landlords?
So as I said, our segment is open to all sort of basically people. That's number one. Number two is our website make it easier for them to live in our properties. They communicate with us through our text, email, get responded very fast, and then problem are being solved. So it has been working. I mean, we are gonna have a record this month in terms of, so on December we added only 5 new tenants. On February we have around like 25 new tenants just this month.
And what is that? What is that equal to revenue? Okay, that question got retracted. Does anyone else have any additional questions then for MLC? Or should we move back? It looks like we missed some of the questions for Nebula. We can run through those questions before we go on to the next company, if no one else has any other questions.
Okay, what are the questions?
1 second, just waiting to see if any come through. Okay, it looks like we're all closed up on the community questions. Keep them coming, guys. And thanks for presenting name. Thanks for sharing MLC with us.
No problem.
And then for other questions that keep coming in the chat, you can respond as well. So just make sure you're looking into the chat. 2 questions that we missed earlier I think are interesting are, what are your metrics or numbers? So someone asked, okay, you have a $5 million valuation. How are things actually going with the business? And how many users do you have actually creating? How many songs? How much revenue?
Yeah, so it shows the traction. I think you can see my slide, right? My screen.
Sorry, not name, not you. Nebula. So
Okay.
this would be for Alessandro, or this would be for Fuad.
I think I asked that question, they answered.
Okay, never mind. Sorry, I got kicked out of the call for a second. Okay, then thanks to our first 2 presenters. And again, guys, this is the Startup Tank. Sorry about the technical difficulties we were having earlier. If you want to find out more about us, thestartuptank.com. If you're an investor looking to invest in top companies, thestartuptank.com/invest. You can join our investor syndicate and invest in companies like this and tons across with our investor network. And if you're a startup that's looking to pitch on one of our next sessions, which we'll probably not be using the system that we're using now because of technical difficulties, then go to thestartuptank.com where you can find out more details and apply. Now, I want to move on. Let's go to Alessandro with Potiio. Now we've got a revolutionary type of soft drink beverage container. It's a little bit challenging to explain, so I'll let them do the best. I've met them through Venture Lab here in Switzerland, and they're doing some cool stuff. Alessandro, you guys are up.
Cool, thanks. 1 second, I try to share my... unfortunately, I can't see my pitch deck.
And sorry to everybody who's watching. It doesn't look like the screen shares are becoming videos here for whatever reason. The not the best platform. I guess you learn it, live and learn. And this is definitely a lean startup approach to getting the great founders out there. But I think a lot of these companies have a ton of promise. So I thought it was worth bringing them to you guys, for investors, for founders, for fun, and for help, because every founder has a good network. So now you guys are up. Potiio, the sweet spot discovery. Light on sugar, big on taste.
Cool. So yeah, hi everyone. We are Potiio, and we developed a drinking bottle with a capsule system to be light on sugar and big on taste. So, especially in the Western civilization, drinking habits throughout the day are quite unhealthy. So people tend to drink coffee in the morning with sugar, then afterwards, maybe before lunch, they have a soft drink. In the afternoon, an energy drink with even more sugar, and then in the after work, even an alcoholic drink with some kind of sugar and calories. And this can sum up to 1,000 calories, which means that actually half of the calories that you need to the day you already have through drinking. And furthermore, the drinks that you get are mostly in cups or bottles that are made of PET, and they're one way. So the waste problem with these bottles is just immense. That's why we invented the Potiio bottle, as you can see here also on the camera. This bottle is a multi-use bottle that you can fill up with water from, for example, from the tap water at home. And to give taste to that water, you can add then a capsule. And this capsule is filled with a soft drink syrup. And with our special syrup, you can then drink this soft drink syrup water mixture with 40% less calories with 0% artificial sweeteners. And since it is a multi-use bottle, we reduce the CO2 footprint by about 75% 75%. But how do we do that? So actually we have a technology to boost sweetness perception. And we do that by not mixing the soft drink syrup and the water in your bottle before you drink it, but no, we administer it in a pulsatile fashion, as you can see here in this video. You can see that first you get the soft drink syrup shot on your tongue to boost your sweetness, and only afterwards you get the water in your mouth. And like this, we can reduce the sugar content by 40% without that you realizing it.
And as you see on our competitive landscape, we are the only one who have a system on the soft drink market where you have similar tastes on soft drink and with less calories. Our B2C business model looks like it's based on a razor blade strategy. So we are selling our bottles, the technology, and all the soft drink capsules come with it. We also try to collaborate with bigger soft drink companies to raise our awareness on the soft drink market, which is in the EU alone 127 billion, and worldwide around 680 billion Swiss francs. At the moment, we are launching a crowdfunding to check our market fit for the product. And we are looking for a pre-seed investment of around 1.25 million Swiss francs. We need the money to set up our supply chain and to finish the production to get on the retail market end of this year, and surely sell our bottles through our online store. To finish our presentation, our team is founded for 3 persons. So this is Cedric, the founder. Then he developed the Potiio bottle together with Anurag. He's our industrial designer and a former chef cook, which is great because we're still developing some flavors for our caps. And myself, who has a lot of experience from financial industry, 15 years. And yes, the 3 of us are trying to start now and launch our company. So yes, we are open for questions and open for suggestions from your side as well. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys, for presenting that. It's super interesting tech and topic. One of the things we look for at the syndicate is, how does this go 50, 100, 1,000x? So what does that look like? What is the big picture awesome win look like for Potiio?
What do you mean, on the technical side, or how the way we sell it?
No, not the technical side. No one cares about the technical side, the business side.
Okay. So yeah, we first plan to sell the first bottle with the crowdfunding, as Alessandro said. And after that, we will do a test market here in Switzerland by the end of this year. And after successfully ending that, we then want to sell in whole Switzerland and going further into the EU market, and then, of course, as big as possible, going also to the US and worldwide.
Is the big upside for something like this building it yourself or licensing the tech?
No, I think we want first to sell it by ourselves, because we like our technology, and I think when people see what the potential is of our bottles, we will get the traction to do so. But in the soft drink market is also quite a market with very big players like Coca-Cola or Pepsi, like you all know that. And it's not a good idea to have those as competitors. So we would also open as a platform, so that in the end they can also give their flavors to our bottle technology, in order that they can develop new flavors, new drinks, and then sell them within our capsules.
Or just acquire you, or use the license, the IP. The other big question I had is kind of the elephant in the room: air up. How do you guys compare? Are you competitors? Are you collaborators? Do you have the same type of market potential? I don't know if they're a unicorn yet, but they've been going very quickly. For people that aren't
Yes.
familiar, it's basically flavor-based. It's basically scent-based flavor. You smell something and it's like you drink it, even though there's no calories.
Yeah, we met that elephant quite a lot in the last time. People tend to ask that questions. But the difference between AirUp and so first of all, what we have in common is that we both have a capsule system in order to reduce the waste. That's the same, and you can use actually tap water to quench your thirst. But with AirUp, they only have a scent. So in the end, you can taste orange or citron or strawberry, but you will never get the sweet taste. So you always have to lower your expectation of getting actually soft drinks. But what we sell is actually a soft drink with the same sweetness that you're used to, but you have 40% less calories. So from taste point of view, we have much more taste and satisfaction when drinking it.
Because people like sugar. Let's just face it.
People like sugar, and we
For
want
good
to
and for
be
bad. We got 2 questions from
yeah.
two good questions from the audience. A, do you have any IP for the bottle? B, have you started talking to the big players like Coke and Pepsi yet?
Yeah, we both have. Of course, that's actually the first thing we did is securing IP. So after having the idea, we did the IP. We have 2 pending patents right now, and we developed the product and still in doing so. And yes, we also talk to companies like Coca-Cola or Migros to get into collaborations. But here's the point. So first we want to get some traction by ourselves in order to have a bigger advantage when it's about doing discussion about financial. And only after that we actually plan to go really into collaborations with them. But they are already aware of us.
You have to prove the market. You have to prove it.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to prove the market as well. For if you're ever looking for licensing IP, so that the big players see it, take you serious, and then want to gobble it up.
Exactly.
That was one of the things we talked about as well. Is do that and then license it to Coke or to Pepsi. Make it a bidding war. And if you can do that, then that's always good.
That
okay, we're
strategy,
gonna be a big moneymaker strategy. So we're gonna move on in a second. Guys, if you're just tuning in now, this is the Startup Tank. This is our first run, as you may have noticed from the tech. Things will be better next time. We will have full screen pitch deck presentations. I apologize for all of that. But move fast and break things. Sometimes you don't always have all the duct tape you need. Now, before we jump to the next presenter, if you guys are enjoying this, would really like if you would share this on social media, hashtag the Startup Tank or Startup Tank. Share a link to this, post it, post what you like about the startups, what you don't like, maybe get a little bit of love going. At the end, we'll have a poll and you guys can vote on favorite, a little bit of bragging rights. Now, let's move on. And how about we go with David of Believe In. David is helping you to believe in and bet on your favorite creators, so to speak. This one's fun. Imagine Pokemon cards for your favorite creators.
So thank you, Matt. Thank you for inviting us here, and happy to meet everyone, guys. So let me share the screen. You see that?
Not yet. Not yet, no. Does anyone else see that?
Maybe now.
Now you're good.
Great.
So why should we believe in?
Just a second, I can't see the screen, so I don't know.
That's still, looks like it's still loading.
Yeah, you see that now?
Now we got you.
Great. Sorry, guys, for the slowness. So guys, believe it or not, the reason we are talking today and the reason we started everything with Believing has a name and a surname. So many of you will know him, many of you will not, but it's Kaby Lane. I don't know if you ever saw him. I don't know if you ever saw any of his video online. He's one of the most famous TikToker in the world today. He has more than 141 million followers on his page. And the fun story here is that I happen to be one of the first 2,000 followers he ever had. So back in March 2020, he started to make videos after he lost his job during pandemic. And from the first video that I saw, I was sure that he was going to succeed. You know, when you have this feeling, probably a lot of you had the same thing, especially on Instagram and TikTok, that you see someone and you think that he has a talent, he's going to succeed in the future. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what I felt, and that's exactly what I saw in the next months. I saw him growing from 2,000 followers to 100 million and 41 today. So I started to see, I felt like a missed opportunity, something that I could have done, but I didn't have the tool to actually do and enjoy that. And I started to see the opportunity in the market. So I realized that as a follower, you don't really get the right reward that you deserve. Like you don't get not even the recognition as a best fan, because no one would know that I was the first follower of Kaby Lane. And I can't say to anyone that I was there. No one would believe me. And it happens a lot of times on TikTok, on Instagram, that you see someone with 100,000 followers and then you see him a month later with 2 million. And you can do nothing about it. In terms of the creator side, they don't really know how to monetize their talents. They can't monetize what they are able to do. They always have to monetize through merchandising or partnership. And that's exactly why we created Believing. Believing is a platform, a marketplace to invest in other people's talent, to believe in another person's success. So if you think that someone will succeed in the future, you can now become part of that success. How does it work? We introduced the concept of the Believing card, the NFT talent card. So imagine like the same concept of baseball cards or football cards that we used to collect when we were kids, but for yourself, for you as a creator, to actually release to the market digital cards that represent yourself. So me as a follower, I can buy those cards and become part of your growth. So back to my example, imagine if I had the possibility to buy the card of Kaby Lane when he had 2,000 followers. Today, I would own a digital asset of a person now has 141 million followers. So how much would that the value is? And the way it works is super easy. You as a creator, you release to the market the kind of card that you want. Me as a follower, I can buy those cards. As you can see here, every card has the amount of followers printed on the card, so you can show and show to your friends when you bought it. Or you sell it to the future. Every card will give you a benefit for what you're owning, so you actually feel connected to the creator. The business model is pretty simple. We take 15% commission for every drop, for every initial release, and the 85 goes to the creator. And then since it's an NFT technology, we take up to 7% fees for every future transaction. So every time I buy for $100 and I sell it for 1,000, we take the 7%. In terms of market, we are talking about one of two actually of the biggest market after pandemic, creator economy and NFT market capitalization. But we are targeting TikTok, which is the platform that actually today is the most scalable one and has the biggest problem in terms of early stage creators. They don't monetize, they don't make money. So this could be the perfect solution for people like Chef on TikTok with 300,000 followers that don't really know if they can actually drop everything that they are doing in their day-to-day job and go full-time on the TikTok live. In terms of traction, in 2 weeks, we onboarded 25 creators with a total of 12 million followers. All of them, we built pre-sale pages before the MVP, and it went sold out after 45 minutes. So people really wanted it. We will now have the MVP this week, and it will be ready to go. And in terms of our vision, and here we conclude, we want to introduce the concept of believing to support. So if you really think that someone will succeed, you can now support him by believing in him. Imagine like a Kickstarter for people. So I don't know if you ever saw these guys. They are Maneskin. They are from Rome. In 2017, they were in the street of Rome. Imagine here if I had the possibility, instead of throwing them 20 euros, to actually just buy a card that represents themselves. 2 years later, they won X Factor. 4 years later, they won Eurovision. And imagine to do this with doctors, scientists, every kind of talent that you know. How important would that be? So Facebook introduced the concept of like, Instagram and TikTok the concept of followers. We want to introduce the concept of believers, people that actually believe in what you're doing and are willing to pay for what you're doing. Any question?
So you guys are clearly riding a high now with NFTs absolutely taking off. We're in the hype phase. We'll get beyond the hype phase. It will be something. It'll be very different than what it is now. What do you see as the future of NFTs? And one thing that I didn't hear in your pitch that I think is super interesting and needs to be said is people don't need to buy and use crypto to participate.
Absolutely, yes. I always wait for the question to come before I say that, because
No, you got to say that part. That's one of your strengths, I think. I would say that right in the pitch, just as my personal opinion.
Thank you. But yeah, answering the second question that you made, we immediate proof. It means that one of our strengths will be that you will not need to know anything about crypto. We will do everything in the backend. The only thing you will need is your credit card, and you're willing to believe in other people's talent. So that's what it takes to become a believer and to be unbelieving. And in terms of NFT, this is our way to see how NFT will work in the future. So today NFT could be everything. We can see OpenSea or Rarible, how it works. But personally, I think it will change. I think it will be totally different, and the technology it's here to stay, but in another way. And this is how we see the technology in terms of the creator economy.
Let's see. We've got a question from Cassia. She's had some good ones. NFTs, digital ownership, right? So what exactly do I own in this case? She might have missed that in the pitch. What is the buyer buying?
So you own a digital asset that represents your connection with the creators. It's a card, but this card will also give you a benefit. Will also give you something that other people don't have. For example, Kaby Lane could say, whoever owns my card will get 15 minutes meeting with me. So now he has 141 million. If I bought it when he had 2,000 followers, how much those 15 minutes meeting with him would value today? Like, that's the concept. You will have a benefit, a special benefit that only the owners of the cars will get.
Another question coming in from the bearded man. Keep them coming. Is there a chance that people are just going to end up with a ton of NFTs trying to monetize their talent? Why would someone use this platform versus Nebula? Well, I can answer part of that. Nebula is just for music. It's kind of IPOing your music. But in terms of that being a good question, why would people use this versus a traditional NFT platform like OpenSea?
So all the benefits are connected to the platform. So you can use the benefit only through our platform. So you can obviously, as a creator, go to OpenSea and to other platforms to do your own NFTs, but they won't have the same value. They won't have the same benefit that connects creators and followers in believing. So believing in the concept of believing is that you want to know as a follower, as a creator, who are the best followers that you have. For example, the best follower of Justin Bieber will be the one that actually collected all the cars of Justin Bieber from the beginning.
And not just to know that you are, but kind of, it's bragging rights plus money. So the idea isn't just to know that you're able to prove it. I was the person who discovered Adele. I was the person who discovered Justin Bieber.
I want to say to everyone that I was the first follower of Kaby Lane. I would love to do that.
Mm-hmm. And then the question is just how big is the sky, how big's the pie, and how big's the limit? So it's not just that you're NFTing the actual creator's work, you're kind of NFTing the concept of the creator or the creator's ego in a way too. So it's different. In my opinion, it's either going to be very big, it's successful, or it's going to crash and burn. But that's a good thing, because if it was a consensus deal, you'd have way too much competition and everyone would come and kill you. And the only thing that really wins are the non-consensus bets. For everyone, viewers that are tuning in right now, we posted a poll in the YouTube chat of the 4 startups that have presented so far. Who's your favorite? Click through Let's see who we're liking so far, and then we'll have a winner as well at the end of the night. Do we have any other questions right now coming in for our NFT guys?
I think there
Going
was
to be
one from Azita about regulation. So that's a very important question. And to answer that, we are not considered as a security, which is the most important thing to be regulated of, because we are talking about collectible. We are talking about collectible cars and being recognized as the best fund. We are not sharing someone else's percentage of revenues of the future. So that's what becomes like an issue in terms of regulation. But in our case, you are just collecting cars of your favorite influencer, collecting cars of your favorite creators. So to feel connected with him. So that's in terms of regulation.
And if we're being very honest, it's to bet on your creators becoming more popular, because that's everyone is more or less in this space right now to speculate. So if you're betting on the people that become big, and you were the first Justin Bieber fan, and now you're the 5 millionth Justin Bieber fan, there's probably going to be a lot of teen girls that want to buy that trading card from you.
For sure.
If we're being honest with how the dynamic, there's a good chance they play out, which is why I think this one has a ton of potential. And that's Pankaj had another good point, and this is something that was addressed, but we should address it again. And that's if you can have something besides just bragging value or speculation value, which I think you brought up, but in my opinion, you don't have a good example or use case for yet. The extra benefits that people get from collecting cards or from collecting an entire set.
The best way to answer this would be to show how the platform will look like. Maybe we don't have enough time to do that, but I'll try to explain it in words. Basically, you will see that in our platform, you'll be able to have albums of creators. We call them collection of creators. So every creator will say, this is my album that represents 8 cards, for example. So you as a follower, you want to finish and complete that album. You want to finish and complete all the cards of that album, because it will give you a huge reward from the creator. So for example, Justin Bieber will say, whoever completes this album of 8 cards will win a 15-minute meeting with me. So doesn't matter the speculation or the benefit. You as a fan, you want to feel recognized from Justin Bieber. So you want to collect more and more cards from him and from the market. So you will buy cards because you actually want to feel connected with your favorite creators, and you want to win the huge reward. So it doesn't matter about speculation, and doesn't matter about the benefit of the card. You want to feel connected with your favorite influencer.
Which means you're able to tap into the fan market, and you're able to tap into the speculator market. So it's not just one or the other.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like there will be.
It's a very interesting one.
Just to be clear, there will be people that want to speculate. There will be people that want only to brag, but there will also be real fun. People that want to feel recognized as the best followers.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for pitching. Thanks for presenting, David. I think it's a super interesting company. It's definitely one to see what happens in the future. And the space is exploding. There's lots of money coming in, lots of interest. There'll be some big winners. There'll be some big losers. Hopefully David's able to turn this into the Pokemon of creators, so to speak. Now let's move on. I want to open it up. Let's see. Christian, do you want to go next with Bottle Plus?
Yes, I'm happy to. Share my screen then.
And while Christian's getting that set up, guys, if you're interested in our future sessions where the technology will be better and this will flow much easier, just go to thestartuptank.com. You can find out more details there, and you can apply to have your company pitch live to, and we have some investors, we have other investors through our syndicate, and we're growing relatively quickly. So decent attendance for our first session, but plan to go exponential from here, so to speak. So thestartuptank.com. And now, Christian, let's take it away with Bottle Plus.
Great, thank you. Yeah, my name is Christian. I'm happy to be here today. Of Bottle Plus. In Switzerland, every third person prefers sparkling water over fresh water, so still water. But when it comes to sparkling water consumption on the go, they face various pain points. For example, that the availability is limited to stores. Also with plastic bottles, the fizziness decreases quite quickly. It's also not cheap, especially if you buy it, for example, at the... And then there's the whole sustainability. For Potiio, plastic bottles are a single use, and customers actually want to move away from that. And also, transport distance from plastic bottles until they are in the stores are 230 kilometers. And this is a pity considering that we have high quality and locally available tap water. Now, Bottle Plus can solve all these customer pain points and therefore bring the sparkling water consumption on the go on the next level. Now, let me show you how it works. Bottle Plus comes with a to the bottom of the bottle that includes a CO2 gas tank, and this gas tank needs to be filled at your home refilling station. Once done that, you can fill the bottle with water at on the go, and just by a push of the button, you can now produce your own and this process for up to 15 bottles of sparkling water. So only after 15 bottles, you need to go back to your home refilling station and refill the CO2 gas tank. We have a patent pending on this solution with this integrated and refillable CO2 gas tank. And if you look at the environmental impact of self-produced water compared to bottled sparkling water, then we have 90% lower impact with self-produced sparkling water. And even though the device, so the bottle and the refilling station comes at the price point of 200 Swiss francs, the customer will reach break even quite quickly due to the high cost of bottled sparkling water. We have validated our product market fit with a Kickstarter campaign in August and September 2021, where we have raised nearly 170,000 Swiss francs. And now we are raising a seed round of 1.25 million Swiss francs to enable a successful market launch. Currently, commitment roughly 700,000 Swiss francs, but looking for a lead investor with a bigger ticket size. In parallel, we are doing prototyping, setting up the supply chain and also distribution channels. And our aim is to have the product ready by mid-May, such that we can keep and enter the market in Q4 2022 in the DACH region. The team consists of Linus and me. We are both engineers with a, we've done our studies at ETH, so we are rather technical guys, and therefore we have a gap when it comes to brand building. We're currently filling this gap for brand building agencies. And then the second gap that we have for sales and marketing, we aim to close as soon as possible with a third co-founder to complete our founders team. Thank you for your attention and looking forward to the Q&A.
That would be where I would take the first question. Thanks for the presentation. That was very well done. One clarifying thing for anyone tuning in outside of Switzerland, a Swiss franc is worth about $1.1 US. So they raised about $190,000. The question I had for you, Christian, was go to market. Basically, are you going to follow a similar approach then for what Potiio is planning? Your goal is build this up on your own. Have you thought about licensing? Have you thought about distribution? Have you thought about retail?
Yeah, so we will also do it on our own. We will definitely have a B2C, so setting up our own online store, which also means we have to build a strong brand. So this will be one of the next months. And with the online store, we will mainly be able to reach one of our two target groups, which are just people who love sparkling water. And then we have a second target group with people who like lifestyle products, who like gadgets. And to reach those people, we need to go through offline retail. So this is the goal, that next to the online store, we will work early on together with with selected offline retailers to create a certain reach.
Do you have any IP for the product? Theoretically, could you take something like this and maybe connect it to like a water fountain or have water fountain stations for certain buildings, businesses, etc.? Might be interesting.
Yeah, so the IP that we have, the patent pending is on this on-the-go part of the bottle, so that you have this integrated and refillable CO2 gas tank. I don't directly see an appliance now for offices, but of course it makes sense that you refilling station somewhere in the office, and the employee bottles and not the full package. So B2B is definitely also something that will be interesting for us.
And what do you view as the biggest challenge for scaling to a billion-dollar business?
What will be very important for us is the marketing, obviously. I think in the beginning to reach a certain reach and to really create the hype around the product, this will be a marketing game. So this is also why we need a third co-founder who knows how to do D2C, who knows how to do e-commerce. And if we can build it up successfully, coupled with a strong that we can create a certain hype around the product, and this will be important. I mean, same as for AirUp, what they have done, they've created a huge hype. They know their target group, and doing the marketing is what we will have to do.
Okay. We have a question from Azita. Selling price for each bottle, I believe that's 200 Swiss francs.
Yeah, so it's the bottle and the refilling station, so one full package or starter set if you want so.
What are your margins in Switzerland? You're probably going to need much lower prices.
Yeah, so the production costs will be between and 50 Swiss francs. So we have a gross margin of 72 to 80%. I mean, this is just CM1 now. Of course, distribution, fulfillment, and the marketing will come on top of that. But we've chosen to set the price point, this 200 Swiss francs to be able to go through retail, as obviously they will take 50%, and otherwise our business model wouldn't work.
Understood. Understood. Do we have any other questions right now for Bottle Plus, guys? Looks like you survived the startup tank then. Thanks for presenting, Christian. I think it's a super interesting one. There's a lot of competition, but there is a lot of upside, and the fact that sustainable business of let's use less water bottles, I think we can all support that, especially these days. And we've got an update now from our poll so far. So was running a poll, favorite company so far of the first four of Nebula, MLC, Potiio, and Believin. And Believin is just ahead, looks like by one vote ahead of Nebula and MLC Spaces. If you've got any more votes on that, put them in, guys, and then we're going to close that poll. And then at the end, we'll have a full poll where you can vote on all of the companies. Now, I want to move on to a company that's near and dear to my heart, and that's Zario. I've been working with them for a while as a business coach, trying to help them with growth. And the reason why I like what they're doing, we're hooked to our smartphones, and they're helping you use your phone to free yourself from your phone. You want to take over, Andre?
Yeah, sure. Hello, everybody. My name is Andre. Let me start the screen sharing. So, can you see my screen? Oh, sorry. Can you?
Yes, you are good.
Great. So let me start with the story. When the pandemic came, I started spending more and more time on my phone, and I developed a real phone addiction. And the lowest point was when, after one company call, my boss called me, and she said that everybody saw that I was chatting with someone on Tinder, and then I should stop it. And then I was like, fuck, I should do something about it. So I tried many things. I tried the screen time logs, but nothing really worked. So I spent months working on it until I finally discovered some psychology-based books that helped me, and step by step I discovered a way how to reduce my screen time. And then I looked around and I realized that Generation Y and Z was spending 7 hours a day on the phone. So I wasn't the only addicts. Actually, the other addicts were my father, my brother, my cousin, a full family of addicts. And I realized that even though people know they spend too much time on the phone and they take steps to reduce screen time, the majority of them don't manage to do so. And that motivated me to join forces with Kilian Bartek and start working on an app that combines psychology with gamification to make it fun, to help people change their digital habits. And how do we do it? So basically, in the beginning, you set goals, and then we give you a personalized journey. And then you get the choice of 3 challenges, you choose one, and these challenges could be something like making your phone black and white to make it less visually viewable. Alternative activities less routine, such as reading, cooking, or something that's really fun for you. And then, step by step, you replace screen time by suggested real-world experiences. We now working on an app when we have an official launch in a couple of weeks, so you can stay tuned. And we have some a collaborative mode because we realize that people love to work together. So in the collaborative mode that we're currently piloting, you have 2 groups, 2 teams that fight against each other in completing challenges, and that creates an exciting dynamic where people share their thoughts, proofs with the groups, and they support each other and develop a sense of community that really makes it way more exciting. You can see in the competition, there are quite some players, but most of them focus on monitoring and restriction. We feel that doesn't really work and it can be replaced by the phone. There are some in the psychology field, but they are not gamified. So in comparison to Instagram, these apps are really boring. And that's why we feel we have a right to win. And we also believe that digital well-being is the next mindfulness. So we believe it's gonna follow what we could see in Headspace and Calm and the $1 million valuations. We did 10 plus prototype iterations. We had over 100 happy alpha users. In our most recent beta test, we had 90% of user retention of people completing 10 challenges after 10 days. I don't want to trouble you with this, but you can see the users love our product, and we also have a strong team to build it. We are 2 ex-consultants with the experience of building digital tools and crafting great experiences. And our CTO brings a lot of experience from developing mobile apps. We also have 2 really strong advisors with a lot of entrepreneurial experience and experience with Action, and a great team to support us with that. Thank you very much for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Sorry, I got distracted by my phone. Did you say something? Thanks for presenting, Andre. So I know it's a huge market. Everyone's on their phone, but how do you turn this into people to admit they have a problem and pay for something like this? That's the one big question that you guys have to answer. And if you answer, it becomes big. How do you answer that? How do you make that work?
So actually, there are quite a lot of people who realize that already have a problem. So we first also thought, okay, we have to persuade people that they do have a problem. But if you look at all the numbers, there are millions of people who are using tools to reduce their screen time, just without success. So if we look at the statistics for the search, there's just a lot of people we actually don't have to persuade them. We just targeting the people who already know that they have a problem and they want to find a solution.
Mm-hmm. They want to find that solution, and Kezia pointed out, which means that it's a self-destructive solution. So is the goal that people use the app to get rid of the app? Is it like a dating app?
So actually, our vision is to become a life coaching app. So basically, when you start, you will get off replace challenges that help you reduce your screen time, but also a mixture of challenges that help you expand your comfort zone, try new stuff, connect with your friends, do new activities. And we believe with time, you can switch from the basic, the core focus of reducing screen time to any ambition you might have in your long-term ambition is to become the #1 coaching app and use this screen time major problem to pilot people to other problems, other ambitions that they might have.
And again, just as a reminder for everyone, post your contact information in the YouTube channel so that if people want to reach out, they can do that. You could also, if you want to, post links to your slide decks for anyone that wants to download the deck itself. Another question from the bearded man: how do you guys make money? It's a freemium model, correct? Can you walk us through that?
So, exactly. So we see several ways of making money. The first one correctly is freemium. But on top of that, because we are targeting a real problem, health problem, we could finance ourselves through public health insurance. So for example, in Germany, it's already possible to use such digital therapy tools as official medication that can be prescribed by a doctor, and they can be reimbursed for up to 100 euros per patient. Another way to refinance ourselves is to B2B or B2B2C, so going through employers. If you look at Calm or the other meditation apps, a substantial source of their revenue is actually selling them to businesses and offering it as an employee benefit. And lastly, we believe that we could team up with other companies and do affiliate marketing for products that support digital well-being and bring people off their screens. Does it answer your question?
That definitely answers the question. I think the model's definitely there. I think it'll be an interesting one. Data usage. Where are you getting your data usage stats from?
That's a good question. We actually don't have access to any data because that's not a single system. So neither Android nor iOS enable you to access this data as a third-party app. So we actually help people to change their habits, and it's irrespective of these data. We have a way of measuring the number of unlocks of certain apps that's in the pipeline. It uses the shortcut app on iOS, and through which we will be able to measure the number of unlocks of social media apps of users. And this number is much more important than the sheer screen time. Social media. So if you go to social media once a day and then you stop, it's okay. But the real problem is that you have this FOMO and you could keep checking it every 5 minutes, And for this, we can use this workaround. But otherwise, there are no clean ways to get this usage data at the moment.
Awesome. Thank you. Another question that we've got here is, what are you guys doing, or are you doing anything to facilitate real world relationships as opposed to digital? So getting people out of the phone and into the real life.
Exactly. So I previously mentioned that we had the so-called replace challenges. In the beginning, when you fill out questionnaire, you can say that one of the things you would like to focus are real-world relationships. And then we have a series of challenges that are psychology and research-based that tailor to that. So for example, we ask you to make real-life compliments. We call it real-life likes. So you give compliments to people around you. We give you interesting topics to talk about with your friends. We give you ideas what you could do, like organize an international dinner for your friends on board game evening. And by giving you so many ideas, we make sure that you connect with your friends in real life. A challenge that's super popular is a phone-free dinner, where you invite your friends for dinner, everybody puts their phones in the middle, and the first one who reaches out for the phone has to pay for a round of drinks.
That's a cool one. That's a cool one. There's a lot of fun stuff that you can do with this, and a lot of it will be very unique because people have never done challenges like this. Maybe you could make it into a game itself. You could even have I think that could be a monetization thing in the future as well. Wagering. People have to wager that they'll be able to do it, and if they fail, or if they have a pool of money, then most of the money goes to the winner, and whoever loses, maybe you guys make like 5 or 10% rake or something for facilitating that.
Yeah, I think that could be really exciting.
Because there's no better way to motivate someone than put money on the line in a negative way. No one wants to pay their friends or feel like they lost. Do we have any other questions now from the audience or from any of the other presenters for Zario? Speak now or forever hold your peace. And while we have this pause, while people are typing or thinking, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. You can do that by hitting that little subscribe button and hit the reminder or the notification bell to make sure you get these in the future. Again, I want to apologize for the quality of what's gone through time-wise, audio and microphone-wise, connection-wise. Things will be better next time. It's an entrepreneur promise, which means that we do our best to make it happen and duct tape everything together to make sure that it works. And that's what we will be doing again, March 28th. We have sessions coming up for the Startup Tank. To find out more and apply, go to thestartuptank.com for more details. And if you're an accredited investor, i.e. a net worth of more than $1 million, or a yearly revenue of more than 200,000, both of those being US dollars, then you can apply to join our syndicate, which invests in companies like this and other companies, basically the most promising and mission-driven founders, pre-seed up all the way up to Series A, tackling the big problems facing the world. You can find out more about that as well by visiting thestartuptank.com/invest or going to my website, mattward.io. And I haven't really spoken about myself very much. My background, built and sold a couple small companies that aren't worth talking about. And now these days I help companies, some of these companies as well, with growing, scaling business on the strategy, growth, and fundraising side of things. For more details, mattward.io, where I've got a lot of free pitch deck guides, fundraising guides, growth guides that can hopefully grow and scale faster. And now, do we have any other questions for Zario before we move on to what unfortunately has to be our last presenter of the night? It turns out that Leva is in Leva won't be making it because they're closing things with investors now, which is awesome news. They're raising the round and going on to change European venture, but they're a little bit busy at the moment. So that means our last presenter is going to be Sunid. And Sunid, they're doing some pretty cool stuff when it comes to drones and AI. Michael, you're up. Let's hear it.
Hi, everyone. Let me quickly share my screen.
And Michael is another ex-ETH founder. As you can see, we've got some... Or actually, I believe, no?
Actually, myself not, but my two co-founders are.
Okay, that's okay. You get to play the genius. You get to play the genius founder card.
That's good. Yeah, hi everyone. My name's Michael. I'm one of the co-founders of Swind. That's how we say it. A company built as a spin-off from the University of Zurich with the vision of unlocking the full potential of commercial drones. What exactly do we mean with that? To explain you this, let's look at agriculture. Here, autonomous spraying drones have started to revolutionize the industry. But the problem is that they today can only spray a small percentage of fields that are out there. If you look at this image here on the right, on this field, you see trees, you see other obstacles, you see steep terrain, confined landing space, and probably some areas that have pretty bad GPS reception. Each one of these factors are too big of a hurdle for today's drones to be flown manually, which means they require educated pilots for actual spraying. So far, that has not been that big of an issue because many of these manufacturers had only started out a few years ago. The market was big enough for everyone. But for the breakthrough of such drones, autonomy will be a killer feature for everyone. That's why we at Swind have decided not to build just another drone, but to help these manufacturers. So how we do that is that we build an autonomy suite that is easy to integrate into their existing drone designs. It will allow manufacturers to immediately solve the challenges of precise positioning, even without GPS, to have consistent terrain following, obstacle avoidance on board, and to be able to have a safe landing in any situation. So far, we have already 2 drone manufacturers who are flying their drones with our system on board. While agriculture is the ideal place for us to start with, we eventually want to build solutions that also benefit other segments of the market, like inspection or delivery drones. Until we eventually reach our big goal of having Swind become the default answer to any drone manufacturer asking the question of how can I enable my drone to fly fully autonomously? In order to reach these big goals, we are currently raising 400,000 Swiss francs. So if you are as excited about drones as we are, then reach out to us and join us on our journey to unlock the full potential of commercial drones. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Mike. It's
Thank you.
Super interesting space. I've got a unimportant question of the name. It's just real hard to pronounce. What's the story behind it? And then a more of an interesting question. Okay, when do we start getting into the commercial drone delivery, and will your solution be applicable there as well?
Yes, so the first about the name is quite a bad story, actually. So we had to come up with pretty quickly for a competition where we were in for some prize money. And one of my co-founders, as you see here, is Kunal. He's from India. He was in Switzerland at the time when we started. So Swind is basically a combination between Swiss and India. So that's how it came up. And then once we wanted to change the name to something else, it already caught some traction on the internet. And we decided it was more worth to just stick with that.
Okay.
The other question, when will we see actual drones out there, especially in the delivery area? I think the delivery is probably the one segment that will take the longest for us to actually see drones flying out there in cities or wherever you live. The biggest problem there, of course, regulations, which are still in development in most countries. But still, we see some traction there. So we have one client that is actually outside of agriculture, a company called F-Drones, which is already performing some paid flights, delivery flights between harbors and container vessels. They have our system on board. So there is stuff happening today. But I think until we see drones actually delivering the package to your doorstep, that's going to take a while. I think their agriculture is much closer to a broad adoption of drones.
What's your sales model is it for agriculture? I imagine it's a bit more hands-on. This isn't a bottom-up Slack approach. You get in there and start being used as a freemium. Is this a sales team deep in the weeds type approach? What's your go-to-market and how do you guys scale that faster?
Yeah, so actually, first, how we make money is it's a license model. So the manufacturers pay a license fee for each drone they want to use our system on. That is valid for the lifetime of the drone. And how we reach them right now, all of our clients we reach just by directly reaching out to them. But we also have quite a good network through our advisors within the industry. And for the future to scale, for us, the way to go, I think, will be through collaborations with creators of flight controllers. Once we have a deep integration with a certain flight controller, then this could be sold in a bundle to any manufacturers because they usually don't build their own flight controllers.
What about the applications in the insurance industry? I know drones are big on insurance, especially for agri-tech, for buildings, etc.
I think also that will be a very interesting use case at some point for us, but we have deliberately decided to start out with agriculture here because it's the most advanced, it's the easiest in terms of regulations because you're flying over private property. There is no people walking around on these fields while you spray. And also it was a very good fit to the initial technology we had.
Okay. And what is the big unlock? What is the billion, the $10 billion potential? What's the best case scenario for Sund?
I think the best case scenario for us at some point would be that it's basically a requirement to have our system on board in order to get flight permissions to fly your drones autonomously wherever you are.
Okay, and then you guys become the de facto drone autopilot, so to speak.
Sort of, yeah.
Okay. There's a very large upside in that, I have to imagine. Do we have questions from anyone else? Any other presenters, anyone else in the audience that has questions for Michael? To find out more, might want to invest. What's the biggest challenge? I have one more question. What's the biggest challenge of building something? This is a very technical system. If you guys mess up, there's a good chance people are dying or very expensive things are getting damaged. That's not the case with a lot of the other startups presenting.
That actually is a big challenge, and that is also a bit why we think agriculture is a great place to start, because of course there the risk is a bit lower. But also another challenge for us is you can imagine these fields that you want to spray, they look different in any place. You have different conditions, different temperatures, different lighting conditions, and the testing that we have to do in order to make sure that our system performs in each of these environments is quite extensive. So that's one of the big challenges.
Bia wants to know about birds. How do you guys deal with birds spraying? I imagine crashes probably wouldn't be that common, but other issues.
Honestly, so far, birds were never an issue for us. Might come up in the future, but as of this point, I cannot really say a lot about that.
Then it looks like those are all of the questions that we have from the audience and from the presenters. If anyone else has them, make sure to post those into the chat.
Thanks for having me.
It looks like Kazia appears to have lots of great questions. I'm not sure what her background is, but she should post her contact information. All the founders, make sure you post your contact information in the chat as well, in case anyone wants to reach out. Again, we'll be hosting this ideally every 2 weeks, at least every month. We've got coming up on March 14th and on March 28th. The technical challenges will be worked out by then, so make sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube on the live stream to make sure you get notified. I think there's a notify bell you have to hit as well, because YouTube's really trying to make things complicated. But make sure to do that, or go to thestartuptank.com and subscribe right through there. Apply if you're a startup and want to pitch on the upcoming or for the syndicate investors in general. And if you're looking to invest in top promising companies, pre-seed to Series A, companies that are changing the world when it comes to climate tech, when it comes to AI, when it comes to doing big, meaningful things, thestartuptank.com/invest. You can find more details there about the companies we invest in and apply to join as well. And then I want to, thank everybody for tuning into this first ever edition of the Startup Tank. I want to thank you as well for coming that we've had. I know they were many. We will have a better system for next time. And I want to thank all of our presenters. Each of you guys, Andre, Michael, Alessandro, and Christian, and David, and I believe we lost somebody else as well. There's a lot of people here now, but I want to thank everybody for tuning in, for being here. And again, if you guys have any questions for the startups you're interested, you want to join, you want to be a co-founder, you want to invest, or you have great connections, you want to work together, whatever it is, you can reach out. In general, here's a pro hack. They're founders. Their email address is probably their first name at their domain name. And if not, just reach out through the contact form or on LinkedIn. Founders are always friendly. And if no one has any other words or anything else they want to add, then I would wrap things up and let people head out for dinner and, i.e., get back to work. We have a winner of the startup for the night as well. Unfortunately, I could only post 4 options. So we had Believe In earlier that had a 33% winner rate, so to speak. Now we have Zario with 54%, beating out everybody else. It looks like we're all a little bit addicted to our phones. And I think we're addicted to our laptops as well. So let's get off of here. Let's get on with life. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Thestartuptank.com again to find out more. And until next time, go build something and make it happen. Cheers.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Matt. Ciao.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.